films. Fearlessly, they test the scenes to breaking point and beyond. Have the movie makers got it right? Or is it all just Hollywood science?
If you're the sort of person who feels queasy at the exploding stomach in Alien.
The mere mention of the phrase, wafer thin mint, starts your stomach churning.
Or if you had to look the other way during the eye transplant in Minority Report.
Then now's the time to reach for that bucket.
Because we're going to be looking at the science behind 3 of the most revolting sequences in movie history. But only one can win the coveted Hollywood Science Award for the duffest science in moviedom.
So which films are we putting under the spotlight?
We've got the goofball comedy The Great Outdoors starring John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
Big Bird, chase me!
There's Fight Club, a brooding thriller with Brad Pitt.
You want me to hit you? That's right.
But first, an action epic that, despite its $175 million budget, bombed at the box office.
There's a hero who's half man, half fish.
Gills.
And not a speck of land in sight.
Yep, it's Waterworld. The scene we've chosen for scientific scrutiny sees our web-footed hero, Kevin Costner, answering the call of nature. But rather than let perfectly good Waz go to waste, Kev, or the Mariner as he's known in the film, has another plan for it. So, could Kevin have turned his we into water? Or is it just Hollywood science?
The question is whether he can do it with the stuff on his boat.
We better try and find out. So what is actually in the average sort of sample of wee?
Well, it's mainly water, so 95% water.
Right.
There's a bit of urea,
Yeah.
which is a source of ammonia. Perhaps it might be a little bit of acidic, so I've got some lemon
Bit of lemon,
juice here.
right.
And the most difficult component to get rid of, from our point of view, is the salt.
So why is that important to get rid of?
Because basically it dehydrates you. So if you're in
Right.
the desert and someone gave you some pee, for example,
Yeah.
normally you could drink it, it'd be all right, but if you're actually really thirsty, all it does is dehydrate you even more. So it can kill you.
Right.
So we need to get rid of the salts.
OK, fair enough.
So we just add the water to that, and we can make up our pee.
Right. The thing is, though, at the moment, the wee isn't very kind of wee-looking. I mean, I don't want to, you know...
Final ingredient. Some food colouring.
Oh, yes.
What do you
Oh. So it's a sort of midday wee. That looks right. So that's going to be pretty unpleasant to drink, isn't it, now? So what are we going to do to make that drinkable?
Well, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could distill it, for example,
Right.
where you heat it and condense the steam.
Right, and you
But
catch
on
the
a-
drops and all that stuff.
Yeah, but on a rolling boat, then you've got to have
Yeah,
a fire, and
oh,
it's
yeah.
very, very difficult.
Right.
But second way, which is much easier, is you could filter it.
Right.
And there's stuff called activated carbon, which
Right.
is like this. This is the stuff that's in gas masks or in odour eaters. On a molecular scale, it's just like a sort of sponge, so it's got loads of channels and holes in it. So that's basically what's in a water purifier.
Right.
You know, the sort of things you use in your fridge.
Yeah.
So we can try that with our pee.
OK, all right.
It's going to need a few passes.
Like, refilter it?
Yeah, so each time it
Dip
goes
it in
through the
once.
filter, it absorbs more of the,
Right.
the rubbish.
Oh, there's something dripping out already. It's quite yellowy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, I mean, would Kevin have been able to get hold of, you know, charcoal or carbon?
Well, there is a scene in the film where a little girl is drawing with charcoal.
Oh, right, the girl
So-
with the tattoo on the back.
Yeah.
She is, that's right,
So
yeah.
they could have made something similar. Really.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's looking pretty clear, Jonathan. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. Let's take a little sample of that, so we can test this in a minute.
Oh, lovely. Crystal clear.
So there's a sample of the original that went in it.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So you can really see
Oh,
the
yeah.
difference,
Yeah,
can't
no,
you?
that is good, isn't it?
So now we need to test if it's taken out the salts. Now I've got a little gizmo here which
All right,
will test
I'll
that.
clear this out.
We need to make some space.
Yeah.
Okay, what I've got is 2 electrodes, which are just carbon rods.
Right.
And that'll dip in the water.
Right.
And then I've got a battery, which will pass a current through the solution.
Right.
Pure water doesn't conduct electricity, so we can use this to test if there's any salt in our purified pee.
All right, okay. There you go.
Okay. Ah,
Ooh,
right.
bit of a reading there,
there's not enough
yeah.
current to light the bulb,
No.
but the meter is showing conductivity, so there's
Yeah.
definitely salt still in there.
Yes. So Kevin must have been doing something else then to get all the salts out of his,
Yeah,
of his
and
pee.
the clue is in the clip.
Right.
Ah, yeah.
So he's pumping, isn't he?
Yeah, he's building up the pressure on something, which means he could be using a technique called reverse osmosis.
Ah, reverse osmosis. Now, Jonathan, you tossed this term reverse osmosis at me as though everyone would have heard of it. I mean, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. What is it?
It's just a very, very efficient way of purifying water. And this is actually a reverse osmosis housing. And inside here is a membrane, so that's basically a filter with very, very small holes, which can pass water, but it can't pass bigger molecules. And if you look at the clip on the film,
Right.
to the left-hand side of the apparatus, the thing he's using, there's a thing that looks very like
It does.
this.
It looks very similar.
There's almost identical unit.
Right. I mean, one of the things I don't get is, you know, there's Kevin just saving up a tiny little bit of pee. I mean, he's surrounded by trillions of gallons of water, seawater. Why can't he use that?
Why didn't you use that? The more impurities you have in your water, the higher pressure you have to pump it.
Right.
And because pea's got far less salt in it than seawater, it's much, much easier for him to create the pressures needed with the pumps.
Well, let's have a go. Let's try it out.
Yeah, I think to be really scientific, we ought to try out on the real thing, though, don't you think?
Oh, right. OK, so what have we got to do? What's that for?
We need some real pee.
What, you want me to wee in this? Well, why have I got to do that then?
You're the one who's got to drink it.
Well, I've got to drink it. What? Why have I got to drink it, though? It's not fair. Why can't you drink yours? Jonathan?
You're right in there, Robert.
It's not easy, Jonathan. Especially with a camera crew looking at you. It's really difficult. Oh, go away. Hang on, I've got an idea. Hang on. Ah, that's better. Gee, that's not bad. That's a nice colour. Oh, it smells a bit whiffy, but, you know, that's probably the ammonia, though, isn't it, Jonathan? OK, there you go. Well, it's not that bad. It's only my wee. God.
Oh, that's better. OK, so we put the pee in there.
Right.
This screws down, so we just pump this.
Pump up the pressure.
That's building up pressure.
Do you want me to take over? You all right?
Yeah, give it a go.
I'll give it a few goes. Oh, it's quite...
OK, that's 2 atmospheres. OK, great. OK, so that's pressurised the weave.
Right. But it doesn't squirt straight through, does it? So it's obviously hitting that membrane, and it's
Yeah.
got quite a lot of resistance there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, for the water to come out, the purified water, there has to be
Yeah.
a flow.
Right.
So what we do then is open up this tap very carefully. And this is waste. This is your concentrated pee, basically. This is stuff you don't want. Oops, got pee all over my finger.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry.
And what should happen now is that purified water should start coming out of here. Hey,
It
look
is,
at that.
It's dripping out. But of course, there's loads of people who would think this is a complete waste of time. In Japan, there's supposed to be like over 200,000 people who every day will drink a glass of their own wee and gargle with it in the morning.
Why?
Well, they say, you know, it cures rheumatism and it stops them having headaches and they just feel really fit and healthy.
I think I'll stick to an apple a
Yeah,
day.
no, you wouldn't want to snog one, would you? Oof.
Okay, let's take a sample of our purified wee. Okay, so we need to now check
Yeah.
whether it's got rid of the salts.
Right, yeah.
So stick the electrodes in the
Okay.
in the
Original
original
wee.
pee.
And we get quite a strong reading.
That definitely
So that proves there's
conducts.
some salts in there.
Okay, now stick them in there.
Okay.
Hopefully that shouldn't move. Oh, far less.
God, it hardly moves at all, but I mean, there is still some,
There is a
tiny
tiny
bit of movement there, isn't there? So it could be my own special salts that are really quite posh. Well, there's only really one other test we can do now, isn't there?
There is, you have to drink it.
Yeah. I'm quite glad there's not that much left. I mean, it doesn't taste like it's bad. It tastes like it's sort of stale.
Oh.
It tastes like, I'll
Brackish.
tell you what it tastes like. It tastes like someone's already drunk it. That is really quite unpleasant. I've never done it before, but now I've started, I'm quite into it. So, I mean, in terms of plausibility, it's pretty good, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
you could have done it.
Yeah.
I think you could have got the bits to do it as well.
Yeah. Well, we've still got 2 more movies to see, so
Yeah,
we can't
that's
kind
true.
of jump to a conclusion too early. Why?
Next up is a modern-day buddy movie.
An anarchic romp from the director of such cult classics as Seven and The Game.
Our two friends first meet when they find themselves next to each other on a plane.
Did you know if you mixed equal parts of gasoline and frozen orange juice concentrate, you can make napalm? No, I did not know that.
But pretty soon, the guys are coming to blows.
Before long, everyone's at it.
It's Fight Club!
The stomach-churning scene we're about to put to the scientific test involves one of the most bizarre money-making schemes imaginable.
What are we doing tonight?
Tonight, we make soap.
But not just any old soap.
The salt balance has to be just right, so the best fat for making soap comes from humans.
Wait, what is this place?
A liposuction clinic.
Evading the security guards, our budding soap stars get to work.
Aha, pay dirt. Richest, creamiest fat in the world. Fat of the land.
So, lipofat, is it the richest, creamiest soap in the world, or is it just Hollywood science?
It's quite a claim, isn't it? But where do we get lipofat from?
Oh, God, yeah. Where do we get it? Oh, good morning. Yes, I wonder if you can help me. I'm trying to get hold of about 2 litres of fresh liposuction fat. No, but we're quite happy to pay for it. We're not trying to kind of blag it for nothing. We're making soap out of it. What we want is the kind of more disreputable ones, really, I think, isn't it?
What about that one? It hasn't even got a picture.
Right, OK, let's try that one. That'd be good. I'm trying to get my hands, well, not my hands, obviously, but I'm trying to get hold of. Right. I mean, what if we were to bring our own container? Oh, all right. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, that seems to be a bit of a problem.
OK, I've got another idea.
Morning, sir.
Hello, can I buy some pig's fat, please?
Certainly. How much would you like?
A couple of kilos.
2 kilos?
So, Jonathan, why do we need pig fat?
Because it's the closest to human fat. Pigs eat vegetables and meat, rather like humans, so the fat's quite similar. Not exactly the same, but I think we can get quite close to it by adding a few other ingredients.
To make soap, first we render fat.
So what are we going to do with this?
You've got to cut that up in small pieces and then put it in the blender.
Right.
And then we can purify it.
Thank you. Lovely job.
Fancy a bit of crackling, sir?
Just a bit of blending. That's very good. Is that about right, you think?
Yeah, that looks fine. Small as possible, really.
It's kind of, it's like a dough ball of blubber. Oh, look at that. So have you got somewhere I can put some blubber just for now?
Yeah, stick it in here.
There you go.
Look at that.
I think you could sell this, you know, as a kind of skin softening agent. You could fill your socks with it, you know, if you've got cracked heels. Let's put a bit more in. There we go. It's a present for you.
Thanks a
Some
lot.
nice fat.
OK, we've got to purify this now. So
Right.
this goes in here.
And that's boiling water. There's
Yeah, that's
nothing
right.
else in there but water.
As the fat renders, the tallow should float to the surface, like in Boy Scouts.
So that kind of melts it down.
Yeah, that's right. And eventually, the tallow, the sort of basic, partly purified fat, will come to the surface. On
Right.
here.
So how much fat do you need then to make 1 bar of soap?
You need about 100 grams of
Right.
our soap. Now, apparently, the average female thigh is about 1.5 kilograms of fat.
Right.
So that makes 15 bars of soap.
Well, that's very good, isn't it? That's not bad. That's a good ratio. So what do we need next, Jonathan?
We need lye.
What's that?
This is lye, the crucial ingredient.
Lye, otherwise known as caustic soda, is a chemical called sodium hydroxide.
Right.
It's the sort of thing that you get in hardware stores
Right.
for a drain cleaner or oven cleaner.
It sounds a bit deadly for soap, though, doesn't it?
But when it reacts with the fats to make the soap, it's completely harmless.
Right,
But I need
right.
some ice.
Ice?
Yeah.
Right. Why is that?
Because this gets really hot when you add water to it.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's great. Because it can boil the water sometimes.
Wow.
So we just stir that in, and this is what
Right.
they call the lye. Well, that's melted all the ice.
It's gone incredibly fast,
It
isn't it?
shows how hot it is.
There's a bit of steam coming out. So that's our purified pig fat.
Yep.
Looks lovely.
So it's not quite like human fat yet.
No.
There should be other fats in here. So I've got some olive oil here. So if you add a bit of that to it, just to increase the different types of fats.
Do you want to drizzle?
Yeah, just stick it
I'll
in.
drizzle some in. Although for an American diet, you would think maybe we should add sort of Thousand Island dressing and donuts.
So now we need to add the lye.
Ah, right.
Okay, you see I've gone to a steel pan.
Yeah.
Because the lye is so caustic, it would eat aluminium pans.
You're kidding, so it'll melt the pan.
It's really caustic,
lethal
yeah.
stuff.
Now, it's already thickening up a little bit, but I think if we use a hand blender, we can mix it up much better.
Lovely creamy consistency. So, like, what's in kind of normal beauty soap that you buy in the chemist? I mean,
Well, pass us the soap over.
right.
Well, most soaps are made from beef tallow, but they do add coconut fats, coconut oils into it to make it a bit more creamy. And Brad would have known about that. So I think probably from this we need to make 2 lots. One with just the soap that we've made so far,
Yeah.
and another one with some coconut.
One with a bit of coconut to it.
Coconut
See if we can test out the difference.
Yeah.
Tyler sold this soap to department stores at $20 a bar. God knows what they charged.
This is the best soap.
I thank you, Susan.
It was beautiful. We were selling rich women their own fat asses back to them.
Right.
Okay, just pour it in. It's changed colour actually, hasn't
It
it?
has. It's gone much lighter, isn't it? It's very creamy. All right, put some in that one.
So with one of these I'll add the coconut
Right.
oils to it, make it a bit more creamy.
That all looks very creamy at the moment, but we don't know what it's going to be like when we wash with it.
Okay, that's going to take a couple of days to set. So here's some I made earlier.
Oh, great.
Now we need to test that all the really caustic lye has gone out of there.
And we need to know it's going to wash us rather than burn our skin off.
Exactly. This is a little indicator paper here. This will go red if it's acid, and it'll go blue and alkaline. And for green, it's pretty neutral.
Oh, I
so it's
see.
greeny
Oh,
blue,
that's
which
fine.
means it's fine to use.
It's safe to
completely
use.
Safe.
Oh,
Yep.
brilliant. Well, let's put it to the test then.
Okay. Okay, Robert, how's that?
Oh, well, it's good. Yeah, it's going all right. It's kind of, I mean, it works as soap, I think, but it's kind of a bit greasy.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, because this is the liposuction soap without the coconut.
Right.
So the next one we're going to try should be more lathy.
Okay, so I'll use the standard beauty soap now. This is the beef one, isn't it? This is the beef soap. Well, I mean, that is a very nice, smooth lather. You know, nice smell. That's good. I like that. All right, I'll try the other one now. So this is the one, this is lipo soap with coconut.
Yeah, that's right.
Lipo with coconut. Oh,
That
look.
should be
Oh,
quite
that's going
creamy.
good, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's very nice, isn't it? Oh, look at that.
How does it feel? Does it feel any different?
Well, it kind of, because you go so much with smell with soap, don't you? And it basically, it doesn't smell very nice. I don't want to think about what I'm actually putting on my face.
It smells like a pig.
It just smells a bit pig-like. Try a bit of razor itch. Oh, very smooth.
Well, it's not really the definitive test.
Right.
So we need to do something else. Okay, Robert, there's one more test we can do.
Right.
Now, what I've done is I've grated up some of the soap and put it in some hot water.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the beauty soap and this is the liposuction
Right.
soap with the coconut.
Yeah.
So now, if we shake these up together for the
Right.
same amount of time, we should be able to compare the lathes.
Okay.
So maybe 5 seconds?
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Wow.
Wow, oh, that's very impressive. Look at all that.
Well, that looks bigger.
It is. There's more foam on there, isn't it, in the beauty
So that's
soap?
that's the beauty soap.
So we have proved if you use lipofat, it does actually make a soap.
You can make soap in that.
But whether it's actually creamier and smoother than any other soap ever. But,
So what do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty impressed, I must say. That is very impressive. It does definitely work, because I didn't think it would when it was a
Yeah.
gunge.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
So it definitely works. But I think we've got one more film to do.
We
haven't
have.
So we
And
shouldn't
make a
pass
decision.
judgment just yet.
No, that's right.
Our final movie, originally released in 1988, is a good old-fashioned comic caper. Set in the wilds of Wisconsin, it's the story of the Ripley family's summer vacation.
Nature all around us, boys. Take it in. Take it all in.
But things soon take a turn for the worse with the arrival of some unwanted guests.
I'll do whatever you... Anybody home?
And before you can say Davy Crockett, their dream vacation turns into the holiday from hell. It's
The Great Outdoors.
The chunder-inducing clip we're about to put to the test sees our holidaymakers enjoying an evening meal.
Okay.
Miss, what's the old 96er?
Oh, that's our world-famous Paul Bunyan's Blue Ox steak. It is a 96-ounce prime-aged beef steak. And if you or any member of your party orders the old 96er and finishes, everybody eats for free.
But if there's one man in moviedom who can pull off such a gut-busting feat, it's John Candy.
People seem to like that, yeah.
I'll try it.
Okay, great.
So the big question is it possible to eat 96 ounces of pure steak, or is it just Hollywood science?
Hi.
Hello
Back
there.
again?
Hi, can we have some steak, please?
Certainly. How much would you like, sir?
We'd like one 6.5 pound steak.
Sorry?
6.5 pounds, one steak.
Right.
Oh boy. That's looking quite big, isn't it?
It's enormous. So how do you like your steak done, Robert?
Well, I'd normally say sort of medium rare to rare, you know, but I think, well, I mean, looking at the film as well, it looked like it was very well cooked, the steak that John Candy was eating, so I mean...
That's a good thing because this is protein, it's very difficult to digest.
Right.
And cooking it actually does chemistry, actually breaks down some of those bonds.
Right.
So cooking it will actually help to digest it,
Right,
basically.
right. So, a rare steak is harder to get through.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a week's worth of protein here in one meal.
Oh,
It's
that's
a real
shocking.
challenge to digest
Yeah.
this. So I've got a little demo over here to show how
Right.
difficult it is. Okay, in here, these are 3 little pots full of the sort of chemicals you have in your stomach.
Right.
And we've got 3 bits of food, 3 types of food. We've got carbohydrate bread,
Yeah.
and we've got cheese and meat. And these are all very
That's
high
protein,
in
isn't
protein.
it? Yeah.
Which is very hard to digest.
Right. Oh, should we put on our goggles then
Yeah,
for
I think
safety?
we need to. Right, we'll put in the bread first.
Right.
So that goes in there. Put in the cheese here, and put in a bit of the meat in here. We'll leave that for a little, and we'll probably, hopefully, we'll see that one of them will be digested a bit, but the
Right.
others need quite a bit of work.
Right. Well, I mean, this steak is now definitely done, John, isn't it?
It's
That is
done.
seriously cooked. But I mean, you know, if you think I'm going to eat that, there's no chance. I mean, I've drunk my own urine. I've washed in lipo fat. I'm not going to eat 6.5 pounds of steak. In fact, don't eat 6.5 pounds of steak at home. But I mean, what are we going to do though? We've got to test it out somehow.
I've got a better idea.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant, good.
Here we go. These are 1/4 pound burgers, and there's 25 of them. To get an idea of how bad it is, this challenge,
Right.
I want you to start munching on these and see how far you go.
Right. 25. What? One. Going down. Lovely.
So how many have you eaten?
I think it's 5, isn't it?
So how many more can you eat, do you think?
No, I'm pretty much full.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a 1/5 of the way through the meat.
Yeah. That is an appalling thought, isn't it? But John Candy, I mean, how did he do it, you know?
Well, that's the next thing we've got to see, if we can get that much amount of meat in a stomach.
Right.
So that's the next thing we've got to test.
Just the volume, if we can contain it all.
Yeah.
Oh, because it gives my stomach a bit of a rest anyway.
That's good. Processing nicely.
So this is our problem, 6.5
huge?
pounds of meat.
So that's that's that steak all minced up.
Yeah, what we need to do is work out the volume of this.
Yeah.
So as you put this in, it's going to displace the water. Now your average stomach is about 1 litre, but it can swell to about 2 litres
Right.
when you eat food. And it doesn't always work that bigger people have bigger stomachs,
Right.
but it probably is possible that someone might have, say, a 3
Yeah.
litre stomach.
Yes.
So if I take that out, that's the volume of
Okay.
the meat.
Okay. God, that's oh, look, that's going to be 4 litres.
4 litres. So now we know the volume. Let's feed this into a 3 litre stomach with all the gastric juices.
Okay, great. Let's fill the stomach. So there's the stomach, all done.
Yeah, we've got John Candy's mouth here.
Yeah.
His throat going into
Right.
the stomach.
Yeah.
Now here's the hydrochloric acid with the pepsin.
And that's what's in the stomach.
So they're the juices that basically digest the food.
Yeah.
So now all we need to do is feed it.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's just what it feels like when you're trying to swallow it all. This is reminding me rather unpleasantly of eating the burgers.
You've got to cut your meat up a bit smaller, I think.
Yeah, the whole thing about chewing then is fairly important. If
It
you
is
do chew, it
really
helps.
important. If you didn't chew it, you wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Should we let John have a little sip of
Yeah,
water?
let him have a bit of it. Yeah.
John, a bit.
here he
there it goes. Oh, that was. That is really grim now.
The stomach will only let it through at the valve at the bottom of the stomach if it's digested the food.
Right, so it has to kind of break it down completely.
Before it lets go of it,
Wow.
yeah. But have a look at our little sample we made earlier.
Oh, the meat, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Now, that's not been in the stomach, which has been churning it or anything.
No, it's just been sitting there, but
It's
there's
just
not a
been-
lot happened.
there's not.
I mean, there's a bit of there's some things breaking down. There's a bit of sort of residue floating about.
It's definitely done something.
But it's still a piece of meat. There's
yeah,
no doubt
and
about
that
it.
was 2 or 3 ounces.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that is seriously full. That is. You can't, it's not even squeezy anymore.
Oh,
it couldn't
yeah.
possibly kind of trundle that around, could it?
I don't think the stomach would ever allow it to be that full, because remember, the stomach's got to squeeze with its
Yeah, it's got to be
muscles.
able to chomple it up, hasn't it?
And the food can't pass down there until it's digested.
Right.
So the only way it can go
Oh, no.
is upwards.
It's
You
got-
have to vomit like
It's got to
this.
come back out. Ah!
That ain't the last bite. Well, sure it is. There's nothing on that plate but gristle and fat. Oh, God, no. No problem.
Judging by how much we've got left,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that anyone could do that. I
Hmm.
don't know about you.
Yeah, because even if he did digest a bit, he's got to digest effectively that much.
He's got a lot
to
more
go
much
through,
to
and
go,
there's
yeah.
just no chance.
Boy, I tell you, that Jimbo's not bad.
I'm not very optimistic about this challenge.
I think it's possible that someone could do it, maybe, but your average person definitely couldn't. I
Yeah.
don't think John Candy could have either.
No. Well, that's it. We've seen our 3 films, but which one is going to win the coveted Hollywood Science Award for the duffest science in moviedom? Well, the first of the 3 movies we looked at was Waterworld, Kevin Costner filtering his pee.
You can drink your own pee.
Yeah, you're not kidding, I know. Horrible.
Oh, but we did filter it.
Yes.
And that worked.
Which worked pretty well.
So I think it's very plausible
Yeah,
what he did in the
I
film.
thought so. Okay, so out of 10 then, what would you give?
I'll give it an 8.
You give it 8?
Yeah.
8 out of 10
Yep.
for Waterworld.
That's good.
Then next we had Fight Club with Brad Pitt making the liposuction soap, which is great fun.
Well, the science of that is okay. It's the subjective bit about whether it's, really creamy and...
It was foamy and like you expect soap to be, but it was a bit greasy. It was a bit unpleasant.
Yeah, so middling marks, I
Yeah.
suppose.
I mean, I was going to go for a 6 out of 10.
yeah, I think that's fair.
Right, 6 out of 10 for Fight Club. Then last we had The Great Outdoors, John Candy and his rather enormous steak.
Yeah, I don't think this is possible.
Well, I was going to give it 3 out of 10.
I thought 2.
2.
Yeah.
2 out of 10 for The Great Outdoors. So it's John Hughes was the executive producer and writer. So I mean, he's the guy we should get in touch with, really, isn't he?
Okay, so stick that in the search engine.
Right, that's the number there, isn't it? Okay.
Yep.
Let's try that.
If you'd like to try your hand at some Hollywood science experiments you can do at home, why not visit the Open University website on open2.net, where you can download a free home experiments guide.
Client information.
Good morning. Yes, can I speak to someone who represents John Hughes, please?
One moment.
You can also get a free copy of Ozone magazine with details of all Open University programmes by phoning 0870 9000 313.
Oh, hello. Hello, yes. Well, we're calling from the BBC in London, England. We're very pleased to announce to you that your client, John Hughes, has been awarded the Hollywood Science Award.
Are you serious?
The award is for the duffest and most implausible science in a Hollywood movie.
Oh, I see.
Well, it's for the film The Great Outdoors, a movie he did a while ago. It's in reference specifically to the scene where John Candy eats the 6.5-pound steak. We discovered it was more or less impossible, so we were wondering if he could come over maybe and actually receive the award himself in person. Mr. Hughes, yeah.
I don't think he'd be interested.
He wouldn't be interested. No, fine. Well, thank you very much for your time anyway. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, apparently he's not at all busy, but he just doesn't want to come.
Where's that?
I don't know, he doesn't like us.